Hello everyone. In honor of me being a YouTube member for over 10 years and me uploading for over 7 years, I'll do something to celebrate. I would go through the Indiana Jones films, starting with the original, vs. Lost Ark. Let's open it up. We opened on Peru in 1936, which actually had the Hawaiian island Kauai doubling for it. It's a relatively common filming practice when later double for Island Nublar in the Jurassic Park series. Professor Indiana Jones, played perfect by Harrison Ford, after Golden Material alongside associates Tipo, played by Alfred Molina. I've seen this so many times since I was 8. I've been wanting to talk about this and the other film series for a very long time. The opening sequence, one of the most homage and parody in film ever. As Indy takes out on runs from a barreling boulder, I must say that I enjoyed Douglas Slocum's cinematography and Michael Collins' editing the trilogy. They made these films as distinctive as Steven Spielberg and George Lucas did. However, as he leaves the temple, he runs afoul not only of Jovito's news, but also Renee Belloc, played by Paul Freeman. Narrowly escapes from a plane piloted by his friend Jock, played by Fred Sorensen. The OB sepia call sign on the tail is also not to Lucas' other certain bit blockbuster franchise. Back on the mainland, Jones meets the associate Marcus Brody, played by Dan Molly, about how to find in Egypt. It turns out a rare artifact known as the Ark of the Covenant is located in Cairo, which contains immense otherworldly power. So, as Indy sets off to find the Ark before Belloc and his men do, as Belloc is obsessed, Indy knows it could bring disaster in the wrong hands. He goes to visit an old colleague named Ravenwood, who has information on how to find the Ark as well as a piece that will help lead to where it's buried. I do find Indy's line towards Marcus that he doesn't believe in magic or all the hocus pocus much more amusing at the other films. You know why I continue this marathon. I also never noticed when I was younger, but apparently the pilots on the plane with Indy is veteran special effects man Dennis Muren. He's been working with Industrial Light and Magic for ages, and his work in the series is some of his best. Indy travels to Nepal, where his former teacher and flame Marion Ravenwood, played by Karen Allen, is tending bar winning drinking contest with an Australian climber, played by Patrick Herkin. It turns out that they haven't seen each other in 10 years, and Indy's the only one who's after her father's medallion. Marion is played with by Major Arnold Tote, played by Ronald Lacey, who has many similarities in his performance of Peter Lorre. The role was offered to Klaus Kinski, but he didn't like the script and turned down for the 1982 film Venom. Remember that film? Neither do I. Toad demands a medallion and threatens Marion with a white hot poker to get it. Indy whips the poker away and this leads to a fight between them all in the bar as it catches fire. Marion dispatches one spy using an alcohol flamethrower, and Indy hits another one in the head with a bottle of whiskey. Toad tries to steal the medallion, but the heat from the fire burns his hand. Marion chooses dynamite before a bar burns down, declaring to Indy, "I'm your goddamn partner!" This is a fantastic homage to film series 1930s and 1940s, done in the style of those films. Indy and Marion then travel to Cairo, where they meet Indy's friend Salah, played by John Rhys Davies. It turns out the scenes in Cairo actually filmed in Tunisia, which is also the location for Tatooine and Jakku in the Star Wars series. The shoot was initially planned for 6 weeks, but due to the heat, they were able to finish in a little over 4 weeks, also have principal photography as well. As Indy is separated from Marion and streets of Cairo, this leads to a great chase scene in the marketplace. It also turns out that Indy's shooting source wasn't a script, but improvised several Harrison of water back hits the runs and concentrating their take of the fight scene. It even became butcher in their films, we'll get to those soon. After the chase, Indy meets Belloc again, officially making a contest here to find the Ark first. I must say, despite his leanings, Belloc is one of the most strangely polite villains I've ever seen. Like many actors, Freeman had a large background in stage production before translating to film. It's just like this line as Indy leaves, "Next time I'll take more than children to save you." Hold that thought until I finish this marathon. So, Indy goes to the dig site and the whole place is full of the German military, in addition to other anachronisms of this film. It turns out that Cairo actually had occupation by the British military to guard the Suez Canal. Oops. Still, the scene of the medallion being used to find the exact spot where the Ark is buried still blows my mind every bit now as it did when I was 8. While Indy initially feared that Marion was dead, it turns out she's alright, and in Belloc's corners no less. Belloc decides to coax her into telling them what she knows, and with help and Tote, where the burns are still on his hand from the medallion. Meanwhile, Indy discovers where the Ark is buried, but the tomb is full of poisonous asps. Let's say to the medic line, "Snakes. Why'd it have to be snakes?" Belloc then discovers where the Ark really is and intercepts the Ark as it's unearthed. Indy and then Marion then had to escape before they become two more people in the tomb. They're able to escape the tomb, and leading one of my favorite parts of the film, the plane yard fight. Between the choreography and flying wing, the whole sequence is fantastic. It took 3 days to shoot, and the giant German getting cut up in the giant propeller was just great. Now the next step is to intercept the truck with the Ark. Tears Valley complements the scene perfectly, and another example of the film being a great homage to the series World War II done in the style of those films. I also really love John Williams' music and Ben Burtt's sound design in this movie. As the man who helped to popularize the famous Wilhelm scream, one of the soldiers that can be heard saying as he's thrown from the truck. Indy's able to intercept the truck holding the Ark, is able to charter a way sneak it out of the country on a vessel known as the Bantu Wind. As Marion tends to Indy's wounds, I definitely like the line here supporting flies on the set. It's not the years, honey, it's the mileage. However, before they can get back to the mainland, the boat's going to set up by German soldiers. The Ark is reclaimed by them for the ceremony. He's then board the submarine before the ceremony to open the Ark takes place nearby island. Indy threatens to destroy the Ark with rocket launch, while Belloc invites him to watch the ceremony alongside Marion. Belloc recites an incantation to open the Ark in Aramaic. Of course, Joseph Arimathea. All joking aside, Indy tells me not to look what's inside the Ark. Spirits around the camp. I must say the effects to use the sequence have held up incredibly well over the years. Mostly practical and in-camera effects to give it that spooky quality that got the money for $18 million. Same deal with the villain's demise. I had to be very carefully edited to avoid an R rating, and we'll talk more about that next time. Indy and Marion are safe, though Dr. Jones laments the Ark cannot be studied further. However, somewhat based on what just happened, it's too much power for mortals to comprehend. We close on Indy and Marion going for a drink, and Jack is being sealed away in a warehouse, which will be revealed at the right time. I am very glad to have shared my thoughts on this film with you all, and it's one of my favorite films of this kind. It's been recognized as one of the best films in its genre, and it was one of the biggest in 1981, well over $200 million in the US, and over $389 million worldwide on its $18 million budget. I've seen it many times, along with the next two films that I was 8, and it wants to delight me every time I do. I'll tell you more as I continue to look at the series, but for now, it's an adventure that has endured for decades for me and countless others. My family is scores out of 4. Next time, I'll get into a film which is definitely a black sheep of the original trilogy, Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.